It is now 7:17. By the way, this meeting is being recorded for possible publication, advertising, and marketing. You guys can check it out on the YouTube channel, Eric Flexner, and use it to forward to prospective guests. Jimmy, let's move to the next slide. All right, no guests today, only new members. And John, would you read our creed this morning?
Morning. Okay. LATIP is a professional organization of men and women dedicated to the highest standards of competence and service. Whoop. All right, my screen just changed. Oh. Our purpose is the exchange of business tips. Members will at all times maintain the highest professional integrity. Each business category is represented by one member only, and conflicts of interest are disallowed.
Beautiful. Laisha, would you read the definition of a tip, please?
A qualified business tip is a company or person who is interested in a specific service or product and is expecting a call from an HPRN member.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So, Vice President Jimmy.
Yeah,
Jimmy, we have a new attendance director. That's Antonio. I'm going to give him his training. So that will be in his court. You're going to be my right-hand man and do what you do every day. Thank you so much for your hard work. Tip master is Ken Yang. He just went through board training. Membership director is me. I just went through board training. Treasurer is Jim Bloomfield, who just went through board training. Inspector is a hybrid job with me for new members. Secretary is John. And finally, Sergeant at Arms is Cynthia. Next slide. All right, so we're going to start off this morning with a speech by our acupuncturist, Jim Bloomfield. Jim, are you ready to take it away?
I am ready. I would like to share my screen if I can be allowed to do that. It says only the host can share in this meeting. Am I still allowed to? Can you let me share, Jimmy?
Jim, we can't hear you. Or Jimmy.
You're now the co-host. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, great.
All right, and we're doing 6 minutes. I'm gonna do the timer today, you guys, for your commercials and everything too. Wow, Jim got a lot younger, a lot prettier.
This is actually a picture I took of my family a week ago. I see. Yeah.
Just use your daughter shot.
So, can you guys see my screen now?
No.
No, I'm trying to share it. I don't know why it's not letting me do it. I may be on the wrong device. My computer is not working, so I'm on my iPad. I'm getting a new computer like in the next day or two. So maybe what I should do is just go ahead and give my presentation without trying to share my screen on my iPad. Apologize for the technical problem. So let me switch back and so I can see what's going on. I'm sorry, give me 1 second here. Where's my Zoom? Okay. All right, now I'm back. Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm sorry I don't have the slideshow that I prepared for you. But let's get started. I'm Jim Bloomfield. I'm an acupuncturist, as you all know. My company is Larchmont Traditional Medicine, and some of you know where I am. I want to tell you this morning a little bit about myself and a little bit about, what I might be able to tell you. I'm hoping I can tell you some things that are going to let you get to know me and a little bit more about what I do. So at this point, this is part of who I am right here. That's my whole family, as you can see. And the other thing I want to show you is, I'm a KNAB, which means I'm Knowledge, Nurture, Action, Blueprint. That's using the the bank coding system that we were introduced to by Kim Marie Branch. And I think it's actually a really useful way to understand people. So keep that in mind, maybe when we are when I'm talking today. And also, I'm interested in finding out how everybody else came up with their codes as well. Being a knowledge.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
Can you go a little bit, take a couple of seconds and describe what that means, the KIMB?
KNAB.
For you specifically.
Oh, what it means to me? So
no, I mean, as far as, you said, keep in mind that's what you are. What exactly is that?
So that means that my colors, my values are related to, the first one is like when you put your bank colors in order, you say, okay, I'm a KNAB. For me, I'm a KNAB. That means knowledge, nurture, action, and then blueprint. So that's the order of me. So in my typical day-to-day interactions, I'm valuing knowledge and nurturing. And when I get stressed, I go to action. And then I can't remember what the fourth one represents as much, but I know it's a lower priority. Maybe it's a challenge area. But so for those of you who might know that, then the knowledge is pretty evident. The action is pretty evident, or the nurture is pretty evident. The knowledge, I'm sorry, the action is about people that just, they go, do. I'm a person who thinks a lot about things and wants to understand. It's very important to me. And also I care about people, and I'm balancing those two things on a day-to-day basis. And I think that indicates a lot about why I chose the profession that I'm in, as well as sort of what how I communicate. And so I thought that, just in terms of telling you about me, I'd rather talk about, rather than tell you about my history. I'm from Cleveland. I grew up in Shaker Heights, Ohio. I went to college at the University of Colorado in Boulder, and then I was a recording engineer, and then I moved to Los Angeles to work in film and television. And after 4 years, I was the sound editor for 90210 for 4 years. I cut all the sound effects. And I decided after that I was kind of done with the Hollywood thing, and I wanted to go to Plan B, which I always knew was going to be going to acupuncture school. Turned out there's very good schools in Los Angeles. One of them in Santa Monica, which is called Emperor's College. It's pretty famous around the world. And so I went there and I studied very hard and I learned a lot. And I decided, because I was always interested in medicine and I wanted to, didn't really want to be a physician entering the hospital system. I didn't really feel like that was where I could best put my passion to use. And so it was a really good fit for me. And so I just have I wanted to kind of give you guys a couple of questions to answer that might be useful to you in understanding how I think about what I do. And the first one is, how do people get sick? So just the first thing that comes to mind when you ask, how do people get sick? And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time. I'd love to hear other people's answers. Maybe if I can call on somebody. Eric, how do people get sick?
They catch something, or they overwork, or they get stressed, or they pop something in their neck while they're brushing their teeth.
Right. So their body gets overwhelmed in some way, right? And then, right, when all those things represent that. And how do people get better? Does anyone want to take that one?
I'll take it.
Okay, go ahead, Jimmy. How do people get better?
I think they're both interrelated. I think 99% of why people get sick is because of emotional reasons, like Eric talked about, stressed, overworked, worked out. And I think the key to getting healthy is the same thing, is coming to a place of calm, both your body and your mind, bringing everything back to stasis and getting your body to allow itself to heal itself without dealing with the anxiety and stress.
Right. So the body reacts appropriately, right? And then what happens when the body can't react appropriately? What happens then? People go into a spiral of, oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Antonio. Good. Thanks.
I was thinking that's when either disease or something more terminal, more of a serious illness happens.
Yeah, that's when chronic illness, the chronic cascade of illness begins, right? And so chronic illness begins as a treatable illness usually. It's often about the quality of care in the early stages that determines whether it's manageable or whether it kind of turns into a downward spiral. So the difference between sort of the way that I look at preventive medicine and the way that maybe a hospital doctor or most I say Western medicine, but it's really, I call it conventional medicine because that's the convention of the time. At one point, the medicine that I do was conventional medicine. But a lot of times the interventions that are done can lead to more interventions. So for example, they'll give statins for cholesterol because they feel like that's something everyone knows about, and they feel like that's a good intervention because they don't want to have to do a stint, right? They don't want to have to go into somebody's heart and open up their heart. So they give them cholesterol medications, clear out the cholesterol. And if they do get sick enough that they need a stint, then they have to get a stint. But in order to cope with that stint, because it caused a lot of stress, then they have to take anticoagulants as well, a lot of times. So people will be on Coumadin and stuff like that. And then, so this is kind of, they start into, once they lose control of a symptom, it starts to spiral out of control. And then those types of things can lead to other problems and more medicines. And this is kind of a cycle that we all are familiar with. The same kind of thing that happens with like NSAIDs, right? Like they'll give people say, oh, if you have chronic pain, you can take Tylenol, right? Of course, they're trying to get everyone off opioids right now, which is, I think, really important too, because those destroy your life really fast. But NSAIDs, then what they'll do is they'll say, well, and then if you have a problem, we can give you like an H2 inhibitor, like Prilosec or something like that, to keep you from having an ulcer when you're taking NSAIDs. So they start to layer on the medications based upon like what the original complaint is, and like metformin, which they give for diabetes, it's safe, but it doesn't actually help the like other problems that are related to diabetes. It helps stop the result of diabetes, but it doesn't actually cure the cause of diabetes, which in most cases is obesity. So you can give metformin, but if you can't treat the obesity, you're actually not doing that much for the person's health in the long run, except preventing them from getting super sick.
Hey, Jim, I sorry to interrupt, but it's been a little bit over 6 minutes. So.
Oh, sorry. So I'm going to wrap it up. But so I wanted to talk to you about conventional treatments, which I did. And but what I do, which is different, is I balance the nervous system and the digestive system and the endocrine system and all the systems in the body by just gently changing the physiology so the body corrects itself. And then I just have one more thing that I want to add, because I did have some technical problems at the beginning, so I'm going to take that time back hopefully, is how you can refer me. So if you hear anybody say, like, I have a lot of doctor appointments, I've been dealing with XYZ health condition, I have a migraine, I have frozen shoulder, I hurt myself at the gym, I have fibromyalgia, I have low back pain, I have allergies, I have hot flashes, I have skin problems, I have insomnia, I'm always exhausted, I don't know what to eat, I have gas, PMS is affecting our household, I'm having some issues. Just if somebody says I'm having some issues, you can delve a little bit, let them know you should talk to my acupuncturist or something like that. If you hear someone complaining about their health, that's my message. Thank you for your time.
Beautiful, Jim. Are there any questions? I want to know about 90210.
What do you want to know?
I don't know. What do I want to know?
Uh-oh.
No questions. No one has any more questions. Okay.
He's like, he's not talking about
There's nothing to know. I did post-production. I was not actually on the set. I never met any of the actors. I basically spent 50 hours a week in a room by myself cutting sound effects. That's what I did. I was a sound effects editor. I did mention that, but I guess I didn't really explain what that is. So
That is hilarious. It's like,
Yeah. I have a question for you. I mean, jumping from that to acupuncture sounds like a huge leap. And I'm sure it wasn't that way for you.
not
What
really.
was the impetus for you?
Well, because I always, first of all, I love music. I started as a recording engineer, and I was working with music and bands, helping them produce their albums. I was doing, when I was in Colorado, I had a little like pre-production studio. So I would bring people in for a couple weeks. We get the record ready, and then we go to a bigger studio in Denver and rent space at night and record. It's really just, the skill set that I learned there, I think really helped me get set up to sort of work for myself and to, but in terms of my interest in healthcare, that's happened since I was really a young person. I've always been a creative person, and the thing I really love about this thing is it dovetails the creativity and the healthcare into like a lifelong learning situation, and also my desire for like learning and growing. So it really sort of combines all those things together in a really great way for me. It gives me an opportunity to make a living at the same time.
I've got a question. What's like the most interesting thing you've healed somebody from?
Oh, that's a tough question. Interesting to me.
Yeah, just like something you were like, wow, that was
Okay, I'll give you
didn't
an
have
example.
that, and I fixed it.
This just happened last week. Okay, patient comes into me. She's got has this thing in her ear. She has ear pain. She's like, I think I have an ear infection. I'm not really sure what's going on. Actually, she called me. She was supposed to come in. She didn't come in immediately. She's like, I have an ear infection. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna go see my doctor because it's killing me. It's like I can't tolerate the pain. I need to do something about it immediately. And I could have seen her, but she wanted to go to her medical doctor, which is fine because I work with medical doctors all the time. And she comes back and he said, yeah, I had these like lumps in my ear, and he lanced it and he noticed and it started really itching a lot. And I think and he said he thinks it's shingles. So I was like, okay, so that's fine. I treat shingles all the time. So, when you want to come in, so the next day she comes in, she's like, I'm in so much pain. It's killing me. I'm taking the medicine he gave me. I don't know what to do. So I treated her. She gets off the table. The pain is gone. She's feeling much, much better. And I said, well, come back like in a couple days. So she comes back in a couple days. She said, the pain came back a little bit, but it's much, much better. I treated again. She's like, I'm really good. I have a doctor's appointment this afternoon. And so she went back to the doctor because she wanted to just check it out, make sure everything was okay. And he said, you healed this fast. It couldn't have been shingles. And, to me, I feel like it's really interesting. It's really telling because that diagnosis was so specific and so definite. And actually, I agree with this diagnosis. It was clearly that's what it was. But the fact that we could intervene at such an early stage in the first day or two and get it to turn around in a couple of days, that's unheard of. The same thing happened to me once when I was working with a patient he was a wound care patient. He was at home. He was a very sick guy. He had diabetes for a long time. He was in his 70s. He had had a failed bypass surgery. He had to have his leg amputated as a result. He was on dialysis. He was in really bad shape, and he had pressure wounds from being in the hospital. And I started treating them. And the wound care nurse who treats these all the time, all day long, she travels around town, just going to people's homes and treating their wound care, doing their wound care. Was, they have these machines that pump fluid in and out of the wounds while they're trying to heal. Like anyone who's in a hospital who's got a surgical wound, usually they use those too. And she could not believe it. The fact that his wounds, he's a diabetic patient in his 70s with all these problems, and his wounds were healing so fast. She'd never seen anything like it. So, these are the kinds of stories that happen regularly for me. I mean, it's just a question of changing people's expectations and getting them to understand what's possible. If you just trust your body and do the right things, and don't be afraid to like not follow exactly what's being told to you by our culture has this thing about you know, the white coat and the doc. I do wear a white coat, but you know, just how
I was going to be my question. I'm like, do you wear a white coat?
I do, but the hospital, you know, hospital medicine, it's designed to do something different than what we do, and what we do is very valuable. It's unfortunately it's not really recognizable to the insurance companies at this point because they don't have good research on us. But I think when they start doing the research, they're going to realize how much money and time we can save them, which hospitals may or may not like. I mean, there's the whole business thing too. I'm not getting into that because I'm not really interested in kind of, you know, theorize about why it is. And I'm not hostile toward the hospitals or toward doctors. Like, I really appreciate what they do for us. But I do feel like acupuncture is completely underrecognized.
What other than acupuncture? Because I've had acupuncture. I've blown my knee during martial art training twice, and acupuncture in 3 days, and I was back on the mat. So I swear by it, especially when it comes with an injury. But other than acupuncture, what other things do you do? Do you moxa? Do you cupping?
Yeah. So that comes with a host of other things. So I also do a lot of Chinese herbs. I have a pharmacy in my clinic. I prescribe herbs to probably 50% of my patients. And those that can really help with certain kinds of things. The other thing, and Chinese herbal medicine is a whole other field. In China, it's separate fields, but when you get trained in California, you get both. You get a license to do Chinese herbal medicine and acupuncture. But we also do diet and lifestyle counseling. We do exercise therapy. I do body work, like I do shiatsu and acupressure, and I do cupping, and I do different kinds of stimulation, and I have a whole toolkit of techniques that I can use, and so it's something different every time, pretty much.
Nice. I've done moxa once. Well, actually, training was starting to learn acupressure because of pressure points, and then we beat up on each other for like 5 hours. Then we had to do moxa on each other to heal whatever injury we caused someone else. We had to go heal it.
Right.
So, very interesting. The moxa was that was an interesting experience, but it worked.
Yeah, well, moxa is great, but there's a lot of ways to use moxa. Moxa is also just a tool. It's not one method. There's many methods that are used.
I can imagine.
So there's a lot of different things we can do with it.
Yeah, we only did one. Okay.
My favorite's the rice grain, where you take this moxa. It's a very fine quality moxa. It's very expensive. It's like $80 a gram or something like that. But it's a gram of it's like, you know, this big because it's really light. And so you take it and you roll it into these little rice grains, like piece the size of rice, and then you put it right on the skin. You take a piece of incense, you light it, it burns down. Is that what you did?
Yeah, that's what we did.
That's called okyu. That's my favorite kind of moxa actually to do, because it stimulates the points, and that's how it's similar to doing acupuncture, but you're doing it with fire. So when you in China, if you go to an acupuncturist, their sign actually says needle and fire. So it's needle and moxa. It's always together there. They don't do herbs. The herbal department's separate.
I don't know if I walk into a store that says needle and fire health center.
Well, that's just that's their symbol. You know, that's how that's what the characters say for moxa, for acupuncture and moxa.
Yeah, I need a flashback.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great profession. I love it.
Imagine.
That is so cool to know. I did not know that. Needle and fire. I love it.
Until it's on.
I just brought my mug. I got. Next week I'll show you guys my mug. I got a new mug last week, and it talks about why my job title is acupuncturist. I'll show you next time when I'm showboating.
Needle people. All right. Excellent. Good job. All right. So let's keep moving here along the agenda. So we're going back to the traditional agenda where we have the speaker, a showboater, and a lucky devil. And today we're going to introduce the lucky devil. So I'm going to move my screen over here. So you guys, I'm going to be your lucky devil, and the lucky recipient is Antonio. So I get to talk about Antonio. And the whole point of a lucky devil is you talk about, you know, Antonio's the lucky devil, but I'm going to talk about him. So you pick someone in the group, and their job is to actually do a commercial for that person. based on what they said. You think, okay, did we pick up on it? So I'm gonna do a quick commercial on Antonio. You guys ready? Beautiful. All right, Antonio. Other than the fact that he's a financial planner, all right, for Ameriprise, fantastic guy. He's a great father. He's told us about that. He was a supermodel. Still waiting to see some of those photos. And of course, we also know that he was in the lending business. I guess it sounds like he was a hard money lender for a while. You guys ever seen the movie The Big Short? I understand he's responsible for all that. No. But anyway, no, he's a good guy. He loves people. He loves to help people. Antonio loves to work with new business owners, small businesses, people like that in terms of what their plan is and their finances. And he really loves to teach and loves to help. And it's obvious he's a caring, kind person. And I'm looking forward to sending him a lot of tips. And that is Antonio, our financial planner. How'd I do, Antonio? Do all right?
First, my name is actually Bob. That was good. Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful. All right. So that's our little segue into the next feature, which is Showboater. So Antonio is now going to be our showboater. He's going to talk about his products and what he does for a couple minutes. So did you have something you wanted to put up, or you just want to tell us what you're doing?
No, I'm going to just talk about what I'm doing. I do a lot of financial wellness seminars, and there's one that's been very common right now. Financial wellness seminar is basically where we partner up with businesses who don't have 401ks. They don't have enough. The small business that does not have enough budget to do a 401k. So we just come in, talk about financial literacy things, speak with their employees directly. One of the points that I've been harping on, and people have been asking questions about, as far as how to manage finances during a pandemic. And what always comes up in these conversations is the emotional side. It's actually not the technical side. It's about being able to go through volatility. And the point I hammer in is you don't allow a short-term emotion to change or affect your long-term goal or vision. When everything that's going on right now, if you had your goal set in January 1st, 2020, and then you checked your goals in March 23rd, 2020, and then you looked at where you are right now, those are three completely different emotional places we were at, but yet your goals shouldn't have changed. And hopefully you had a plan in place. So making sure that you don't allow your emotional present affect your long-term goal. Ride it through. It comes and goes, it ebbs and flows. It's very much like seasons. Like right now, there's a certain way we want to feel going towards the end of the year, a certain way we expect to feel towards the end of the year. There's certain anxiety we always have every 4 years. There's always a lot of hype up. Sometimes it feels more than other years. This feels, there's a lot of emotional instability. And unfortunately, that actually, even though the market is very technical, it actually is very emotional. And you have to ride through the wave. So making sure you do have a plan, having a financial planner in place, or having someone to work with to help, talk you off the ledge if you need to, or bounce ideas off of, is almost as important, if not more important, than actually building the portfolio. Because you can build the portfolio, it could be great, but as soon as March happens, you're like, I'm out, and you just sell everything, and then you kind of mess everything up. So you want to make sure you are riding the wave, you have emotional check, but whatever emotion you feel is correct. I'm not saying you don't feel. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel anxiety. You might feel happiness. I remember irrational exuberance, right? Remember those days. I'm telling my age again. But make sure you keep your emotions in check, even through the ebb and flow of good and bad times.
Good stuff. That's important. People get caught up in it. In the beginning, the coronavirus, everyone's all freaked out. Oh, what's going to happen to my portfolio? And those who rid it out end up doing better, right? So it's that's why you need a financial.
You might make adjustments. You do make adjustments. You may tweak from time to time, but you don't. You got to ride the waves.
Yep. Beautiful. All right. Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Flexner, do you want to do commercials now, or do you want to go to the other stuff?
Yeah, let's do commercials.
All right.
Jimmy, you want to take the lineup?
Sure. All right, let me share my screen here. All right, so just in case you guys forget. All right, so I'm going to kind of go down the way it's on my screen. So I'm going to start who snuck in late today, but we're glad to see him. Alon, fire away, buddy.
I'm sorry for late. Good morning, everybody. I'm Alon Ben David from Presto Emergency Repair. We do water damage and fire damage restoration, mold remediation, and COVID-19 sterilization. Unfortunately, I did not pass any tips this week and not last week. I know I missed the meeting last week, so I will update. So for the last 2 weeks, I have not passed any tips. You guys can refer me to plumbers, insurance adjusters, whoever has a water damage that it did not handle or wasn't handled properly. If you suspect that you have mold at home, you can refer me. And hopefully you don't need me.
All right, let's go with Laisha.
Good morning. I'm Laisha Willis, State Farm Agent in Larchmont Village on the corner of Rosewood and Larchmont. And in this group, I am the insurance PNC specialist. Last week I passed 1 tip, and this week I'm trying to finalize 3, actually, one for Cynthia, Ken, and John. So wish me luck on getting those closed out by the end of this week. And you can refer me to anybody who's looking for personal service for their insurance. If they're tired of talking to a call center and they want one-stop shopping with a professional who cares, I am the right person for them. The power partner for me would be anybody in the automotive industry. Laisha Willis, State Farm Insurance. Thanks.
Beautiful. All right. John, go ahead.
Good morning. I'm John Chadbourne. I'm with Equity Title Company. My service is title insurance, but along with title insurance, I can provide ownership information, loan information, lien information, property tax information, easements, CC&Rs, documents. We also record documents. I did pass 1 tip this week. How you can refer me is to anybody who's looking to buy a home, anybody who's looking to refinance a home. What power partner I would want would be an escrow company.
Awesome. Very good. All right. Cynthia.
Good morning. I'm Cynthia Juneau of Juneau Law Offices, real estate attorney. I passed 2 tips this week. I'm so proud of myself. I have my thinking cap on. I passed 1 to Eric and 1 to Laisha. You can refer a nice person to me who has a legal issue, preferably real estate related. A power partner for me would be a property manager.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Mr. Flexner.
Good morning, everybody. Eric Flexner, your Coldwell Banker real estate advisor. I say advisor because you're not always going to buy or sell. Sometimes you just want to know how is the market, or you just want to ask some questions about what you would do if you were going to make a move. So there's no obligation. To this week, I am passing 1 tip to John for a sale that we're going to be doing this week on Windsor. You can refer me to anybody who says the word move, whether it's for commercial, whether they're moving their office or they're moving their house or apartment, anything like that. And I would love to meet a power partner bankruptcy attorney. Thank you.
Woohoo! All right, Jim Bloomfield.
Good morning. I'm Jim Bloomfield. I'm an acupuncturist, which means I do healthcare for people, help people get out of pain and recover from their illnesses when they've had a long time of trouble. And acupuncture does not have to hurt. People don't have to be afraid of needles. This week I did not pass any tips. You can refer me people who need my help. I hope I explained that well. And any questions you have, I'm happy. Power partner is a physical therapist who I have not been able to get to respond to me.
We're working on it. All right, beautiful. Antonio.
Good morning. My name is Antonio Goodwin, a financial advisor with Ameriprise Financial. I work for you. So even though my card says Ameriprise Financial, I work for you. So when you tell me your goals, you tell me what you're trying to achieve, you tell me what your retirement looks like or what you're planning for, starting a business, running a business, selling your business. I sit down, I leverage the tools and technology of Ameriprise Financial with my wealth management team. We make that happen for you and we walk with you every step of the way. I did not pass any tips this week. I actually have 2 that I'm working on, one for Leisha and actually one for Jim. And you can refer me to anyone who is either in the beginning stages, trying to have questions about the market. I love teaching about financial literacy, and or anyone that is, maybe changing jobs right now is actually probably the big thing right now. A lot of people being furloughed and or looking for a new job. They have an old 401k, they don't know what to do with it. Rolling over to either to an IRA or to their new 401k, and they have questions about that. My power partner would be a CPA, and I'm still waiting on, I've tracked 3 down and we're going back and forth right now to see which one is actually pretty good. I'm vetting them out.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir. All right. And we'll end with a thud. I'm Jimmy Green. I'm your financial advisor. I do mortgages with Finance of America. And close your eyes and imagine your family and friends. Imagine them being so happy that they're saving money on their mortgage because they refinanced with me. Imagine that they're so happy that their kids graduate from college because they took money out of their homes to pay for their school. Imagine that they're really happy that they got to move their elderly parents into an ADU they built with a refinance. That's what I do for people. I help them get money and live the lives of their dreams. And I referred a couple tips last week, I think, John, I think also Leisha, and I may have a couple more this week. And who's my power partner? I need a CPA too. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Thank you. I can't hear you. Hold on. I lost you, buddy. What'd you say? You're muted.
Muted himself.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry. Eric, did you go?
Yes, I did, sir.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Okay. I'm sorry. That's right. Move. All right. I'm sorry, guys. I muted myself. All right. Mr. Flexner, take it away, buddy.
Okay. I'm going to, let's see here. God help me if I get this right. Host disabled attendee screen sharing.
You are now co-host.
Okay. I'm going to go to desktop. Boy, let's see. I need to get to where, here it is. Share. Okay, can you guys see this? Hancock Park Referral Network. Okay, this is our Facebook group page.
Woohoo!
So I've already been posting away, and I have invited some of you. Let's see. So as you can see here, new to the group, I've invited Dee, John Chadbourne, Jim Bloomfield, and Jimmy Green. So you guys should be able to look at your Facebook and see an invite from Hancock Park Referral Network. The rest of you, I am not friends with on Facebook, which I have to apologize for. So Leisha, I have sent you a friend request. Cynthia, Antonio, Ken Yang, Alon, you guys, if you could please go to Hancock Park Referral Network and join, or reach out and ask to join, and then I'll accept you. This is a place for us to easily be able to communicate with each other. This is a private group, so only certain people are allowed in. Once we've done this, then I'm going to create a public page that we can then have people find us on when they are looking to network. I want to find the actual, here. I want to find because I just posted some stuff, but I can't find out where the posting is. That's really annoying.
Yeah, they like to change Facebook a lot. They keep moving stuff around. It's like a grocery store.
Yeah, let's see here. Boy, that's just annoying when you're trying to get something done fast. Let's see. Hancock Park Referral Network. Okay, here's one of the posts that I just did. Our current members, as you can see, everybody's there. And then I also posted this little advertisement, which will go on the main page.
The nervous system and the
Can you hear
digestive
this?
system and the endocrine system and all the systems in the body by just gently changing the physiology so the body corrects itself. And then I just have one more thing that I want to add because I did have some technical problems at the beginning, so I'm going to take this.
And then I cut him off right when he was about to add it. Okay. So join us. We're the only business networking organization in Hancock Park and only one person allowed in each category of business. No competition among members. We refer each other to our clients, neighbors, friends, and family. We meet every Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. Is that a deal breaker for you? Or are you ready to step up your visibility in Hancock Park? Reach out to discuss with me, Eric Flexner, blah, blah, blah. So we'll start advertising in various places. And then I wanted to take you to, so if you're ever talking to somebody who's interested in looking at who we are or what we do, you can simply in your subject line put YouTube Eric Flexner. This is my YouTube channel. And here you can see, for example, an advertising and marketing.
That was pre-COVID.
Yeah, I was gonna say pre-COVID, pre-locks. Was that your high school prom picture or what? Anyway, I just had to share that, you guys. All right, I love how you're like, I've set the stage for you, buddy. Have some fun.
I love how you interrupted the whole speech to show us something important.
You know what's funny? Now I know who drives the steamroller. Now I understand who drives the bus around here.
All righty. So let's see. I think that was the two things I wanted to announce. Jimmy, would you go back and do our tip report?
Do you guys see the tip report? There we go. John Lee with 5, and I had 4, and Cynthia 4. Mr. Flexner's got 2. Anything you want to add to that, Mr. Flexner?
Yeah, I'm just doing the math here. As you can see at the top, we have 17 tips passed. We have 9 members times 4, so we need 36 total tips passed, 4 per person minimum. It is now October 20th, so we have 10 days, ladies and gentlemen, to get that number in. So again, if you're having trouble, reach out to me. Otherwise, I'm expecting that you are going to reach your minimum. All right? Any questions about that? Okay, we are a referral network. Be intentional. Think about each other. Always keep an open mind when you're talking to family, friends, clients, and neighbors. And
I had a question.
Yes.
I woke up thinking about this and I kind of forgot it. I woke up in that half sleepiness. In terms, what I've been doing to keep track of the value is after I've spoken with someone who's been tipped to me, if they, the person who referred me might have put a number in there, which is really helpful to me because it lets me know that that's the expectation of what that service would cost from me. That's one thing. But then after I give a quote to a client, I've been inputting that number into the tip. And then I've been changing the status of the tip, whether it's working or closed. Sometimes I'm seeing a person for 1 hour and that was the extent, and it was a 1 hour consultation. Is that the right way to do it so that we keep track of the value? Oh, and I always label it private
So,
because, you know, attorney.
I love that you're playing with it and learning about it and, you know, engaging with it. I personally do not attach a value to a tip. I have no idea, honestly, what the services cost, and I don't care. All I care is that I make the introduction. You know, I honestly don't know how that is maybe I'll learn in forward training how that is a real benefit. What is a benefit, and this is something that we do at the end of the month, is that we're going to ask you to report your income to an anonymous person who is not going to be telling everybody else how much you made. It's I believe it's the tip master, for everybody to give an income report. And it's not a gross, it's not a like I sell a $500 million, I sell $1 million house. That's not the income. The income is my, you know, gross commission. So I report what my gross commission was. Same with you, whatever the hours you build is going to be what you report. And then that total number allows us to advertise out to the world. You know, we're talking about, we have 9 members right now, and last year we made $250,000 between our 9 members, which averages out to be, you know, almost $30,000 a person. So that is how that income reporting helps us. And that's something that we do internally. It has nothing to do with the LaTip Wired website. As an example, the West Side Referral Network, which is that other group that we've been introduced to at that business mixer, they have 45 members. And last year they passed $4 million in tips between each other. I don't know what that works out to be. I guess that works out to, yeah, I don't know what that works at, 100,000 each. I started a Japanese networking group down in Torrance, and we passed $1 million in tips between about 35 members over the course of a year. So we track that number. Otherwise, you don't need, you know, it's up to you if you want to put it in there. It's not like it's they're required to make that money just because you put the number in there. Any other questions? Did I answer it? So we're going to, you know, at the end of the month, we're going to ask you to report any income. And hopefully I'll have closed a deal that Ken sent me by then. And then we're going to have a board meeting. So this last Friday, Jim, myself, John, and Ken and Jimmy, we did the board training with LaTip, and they gave us a lot of great ideas. For example, the Facebook page. Also, you know, moving forward, once we have 10 members, we're going to vote on new members using a poll. You know, have you seen the polls that people put up during the Zoom meeting? So we're going to do that. We're going to do some various things like virtual slideshow. And there's something that's kind of interesting called a home run derby, where, you know, I'm a realtor, I get a tip. That tip I make sure gets forwarded to John, who's a title rep. John then takes that tip and forwards it to Cynthia for some particular real estate reason. And then that tip goes to Laisha for insurance, and then perhaps a contractor, and so on. So a home run derby is where we actually push the tip as opposed to just sort of letting it happen naturally, but we actually push it forward. tell me if this is a good idea, but I thought it would be fun if at the next meeting, the one just before Halloween, if we did a costume contest at 7 o'clock in the morning. No. Yes.
Everyone will show up in their pajamas.
If
Just,
you guys have a costume,
I was
wear
gonna put my
it.
robe on. I'm sorry. Just
I'm gonna wear my costume.
little avocado mask on my face.
Well, you don't have to wear a costume, but you might. And I'm gonna wear mine if I can remember. I'll try to remember to remind all of you. Don't let me win the contest by default because I'm the only one. I'll be wearing a space suit, ladies and gentlemen. My two daughters, my twins, are aliens, so I have been nominated as the NASA astronaut. And then let's talk about the board meeting. We'll do a board meeting on the first Thursday of the month. We'll do a board meeting, and so that's going to be 2 weeks from now. And we are going to do an optional, you don't have to go, but we're going to do an optional business mixer at Vernetti next Wednesday, the 28th at 5:15 p.m. And would love to see all of you there. Anybody who's not comfortable meeting in person, don't have to show up. But if you are, and you would like to actually meet some of us in the flesh, then would love to see you. 5:15, October 28th. That is a Wednesday. We'll be outside. If you've been by Vernetti, they have a big open area, and we'll social distance, and we can have a cocktail or a coffee or whatever works for you. Okay? 5:15 seems like a pretty good time considering you might be driving around from work at that time. So I thought 5:15 maybe for 45 minutes or something like that before you go home.
Eric, is that the board? That's the day we set the board meeting for before. Is that the same?
Yeah. So what I didn't want to do is have a board meeting where someone didn't show up because they weren't comfortable with, meeting in person. So we'll do the board meeting on Zoom. And we'll certainly talk about it because, we'll be having the board meeting the following week.
So that's been scheduled.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually look it up, but it's going to be on Thursday, the 5th. Thursday, the 5th of November. And we'll do, a quick round robin reporting of our various numbers. And I think the board members who are going to be there are going to really see how this is a small business that we're creating with a sales force. Everybody is basically the owner, a part owner in a small business that is, giving referrals to each other and business to each other. And you'll see how we track it. You'll see how we manage it. Certain things have to happen. Two major things that we're tracking that have to be tracked are the number of tips given per member. So that we, make sure that everybody is as involved as everybody else. And then the other is our attendance. And the attendance, there's a certain set of rules with attendance. Those rules are that you have to be at, every quarter, you can miss up to 4 meetings. And if you're going to miss more than that, then you can send a representative, but not for more than 1 week in a row. In other words, you can't miss 4 and then have a representative show up 3 other times in a row. You're essentially not a member if you're missing that much. So if you're going to be on vacation, that's great. You just need to let the board know, hey, I'm going to be on vacation for a month, and then we'll give you a leave of absence, assuming that you're in good standing. Leave of absence means you don't have to tip.
Hey, Eric, just to clarify, when you say absent 4 times, those are unexcused absences, right? If you've got a business meeting or, like you said, you tell us you got a vacation, those would fall under the excused. Am I right? Or
no?
Any absence at all? 4 absences.
Yeah.
Total.
So there's excused, there's unexcused, okay, and then there's leave of absence.
Right.
The excused is you let us know prior to the meeting that you're not going to be there. Okay.
Right.
That's an excused absence. If you don't show up and you don't tell us, that's an unexcused absence. Okay. 2 unexcused absences in a row, meaning you haven't told us where you are for 2 straight weeks. That's grounds for moving on down the road from this group, because we are a participatory group, and this is based on trust. And finally, a leave of absence is where you're going to be gone for 2 weeks or more. You're not just, you got to be gone this week and you're letting us know, hey, I'm not going to be there this week. You're going to be gone for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, for whatever reason. You let us know. When I say let us know, you let Antonio know, because he's the attendance director. Hey, Antonio, I'm going to be gone. We're going to Utah for 3 weeks with the family. I'm not going to be able to join the meeting. I'd like a leave of absence. Antonio emails the rest of the board, hey, Eric is going to be gone for 3 weeks. Does anybody have an issue with that? Each one of the board members looks at their numbers. Hey, Antonio or Eric's been in good standing. He's been showing up. He's been tipping. Yeah, Eric, no problem. Have a good time. Make sense?
Right. But the question is, of those 4 absences,
those are 4.
Any 4 absences or only unexcused?
No, those are 4 excused absences.
So if you have 4 excused absences,
Mm-hmm.
you could still be kicked out of the group.
No, if you have 5 absences, then that's grounds.
Did you say 5 per quarter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's essentially 1 a month.
Yeah, you can take off over 1 a month, right? Because you can have 4 absences, right? 1 quarter is 3 months.
Oh,
4 times.
okay. It's a little more than that. Sorry,
Yeah.
math.
And if you're having some issue, I mean, this is, the rules are set up to help us manage people. But if there's a good reason why you can't be there, just let us know. I mean, some people get sick, some people have to be in the hospital for a month. We need to be in communication with each other. That's why reporting your absences is important. Okay. All right. So having said that, I have failed you in one way, and that is I haven't told you what happened with Dee. Dee Murphy, our designer. 2 things happened. Number 1, the school year started, and she is homeschooling her kids. I mean, she's schooling the kids from home. She's part of our school system, and it starts, in the morning, and she simply can't manage that. And I'm lucky because my wife is doing it right now while I'm here. I don't think her husband is even at home. He's working for sure. So it's on her, and she can't be a part of the meetings. Number 2 is another good reason is she flat out can't take on any more business. She's not in the business of taking referrals right now. She's a very busy lady with what she has going on. And so there's no need for her to be doing that. Now, I think that's secondary because she did join only a couple of months ago. She needed it then. I think she got real busy. But the number 1 thing was that she's just completely slammed. And a lot of parents I'm seeing this is the case. schooling from home is just a night. It's the number one difficult problem for COVID for
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
right? And it's difficult on the kids. You know, you got the kids at home and they can't see their friends and they can't socialize. That's apparently, you know, at least in my house, it's a big problem, like bigger than I had expected. They have each other. There's 4 of them. I don't know why they can't, you know, socialize with each other. But apparently you need outside influence. I personally am loving COVID because I'm a homebody and nobody expects me to leave the house. But for the kids, it sucks. And Dee is dealing with, you know, that every day. So she, you know, we are looking for a new designer, and if and when things change for her, she'll be back. But, you know, if you do see a designer out there who you like and want to invite to the group, then that category is open.
All right. Hey, Eric, speaking of family and absences, I actually just booked a trip last night for myself. I need to go check on my parents. I haven't seen them since last year, and they have been asking me to come back. And I think I'm going to take the window before the holidays start because it's not going to be safe then. So I will be out next week.
So is it just 1 week?
Yes.
Okay, so that's just an excused absence. You just email Antonio and say, hey, I'm going to be gone next week. If it was going to be 2 weeks, then you would ask for a leave of absence. Okay, anything 2 weeks or more.
Where's your family?
Vacation. My
What's that?
parents, I said I'd love a 2-week vacation, but it's not in the cards right now. My parents live in Louisiana now. So
Have fun.
They can join the meeting, right, as guests, right?
Eric.
You know, you're joking. My dad would love that. I'm a second generationer, and he's a retiree from State Farm. He's always looking for a way to get back in the game. So please, not even funny.
We give him 6 minutes. We'll give him the full 6 minutes.
No, it's more than 6 minutes. Believe me, Antonio, it's gonna be more than 6 minutes.
And he can show us pictures and tell us about you when you were a little girl.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, if you were to talk to my dad right now, I'm actually running State Farm. So from if you speak to him, I'm like the CEO and, you know, chairman of the board.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's great.
Alon, you had a question, and then Cynthia.
Hey, we are going next week, me, my wife, the kids also to Georgia for a family visit. So we will be in Georgia the whole week next week. I try to make the meeting from there. I'm going to be close to Leisha. If I can handle it, it will be 10 o'clock in the morning. It's fine with me.
That's right. It will be later in the morning for you.
Yeah.
You know, I was in Big Bear the last 2 weeks. We have a timeshare and my kids don't have to be in school. So we took it. And I'm president, so I need to be on these meetings, but you know, you don't have to be. So, you know, just again, the key here is it's not a verbal, it's a written email to Antonio. Okay. Got to send him an email that you're going to be absent next week. All right. Everything in writing. Wait, we can't hear you.
I said I might make it for the meeting, you know.
That would be great. Love to see it. That would be cool.
You see nice trees in the background.
Actual trees.
A real one.
Cynthia. Did you have something?
No, I was just commenting on how cool it was that Leisha's dad is so proud of her.
Thank you. And Tuesday's actually his birthday, so I won't be on the call for.
Okay, perfect. So again, and I'll remind you occasionally, you know, there's 3 ways to be absent: excused, unexcused, and leave of absence. Excused is you're just going to miss one meeting at a time. You know, you're going to miss this month, and then next month you have a different one. You just email us, let us know. Unexcused, you don't tell anybody. You don't email anybody. We don't know where you are. And you do that 2 weeks in a row, that's a problem. Number 3, if you're going to be gone more than 1 week, right? 1 week is an excused absence. You just email us. If you're going to be gone 2 weeks or more, just let us know. Let Antonio know, hey, I'd like a leave of absence. Okay, and assuming you're in good standing, no problem. Generally speaking, a leave of absence is for vacations. Because if you're in town, you most likely do not have a business meeting at 7 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. That's why we meet at this time, because we can all be here. So if you're missing 2 or 3 meetings in a row and you're not on vacation, then, maybe this isn't the right place. So generally you want to be on vacation. When we're a big group, I've had it happen where somebody's been on leave of absence. And then, you see them down at the coffee shop, you're like, wait a minute,
Hey,
So,
everyone on leave you need coffee.
Yeah. You flew back for coffee.
If it's that good.
Yeah. So again, the 2 major things we track is the tips, 4-tip minimum, and the attendance. And then we track a bunch of other things on a secondary level, and the board will start to see how that all comes together on a monthly basis. It's actually quite interesting, and to see how it runs and how people operate, and it's kind of neat. That'll be on November 5th. And I guess I'll put together a time sometime, maybe usually it would be a lunch meeting in person. So maybe we'll just start doing it at lunchtime on Thursday to get used to it. Are there any announcements or testimonials?
I've got an announcement. My company, we're doing really well in the jumbo loan space, you guys, which is loans over $765,000. A lot of lenders stopped doing them because of the COVID. And we've got a lot of great loan products. I just locked someone in a rate that was below 3% with no points on a jumbo loan. So if you hear about someone saying, oh, I tried and they couldn't do my loan size, we can do them. One of the few brokers I know of in the country that has some of the banker brokers that has some of these options out there. So anyway, just wanted to throw it out there.
Jimmy, are rates coming down even more? Is that happening, or?
They've kind of at a bottom. They've kind of been, my thought is they're going to stay low for a while. Then we'll see what happens with the election. Because there's a lot of uncertainty, and the second wave coming into Europe is concerned a lot of investors. And so as the stock market goes, typically the interest rates go. So yeah, rates are low. We're told the rates are going to be low for the next couple of years. So it's going to be a good market for real estate.
Wow.
Jimmy, what's the jumbo cutoff in what's the you said 760?
Yeah, in LA County, any loan over $765,600 is considered a jumbo.
So 565 is a conventional?
That's a conventional Fannie Freddie Mac stuff. Rates on those are a little bit lower. I locked someone in on a loan the other day at 2.5%. So yeah, money's good out there, you guys.
Owner occupied.
Yes, owner occupied. It's a little higher on investments.
Yeah.
But it's still ridiculously low.
Yeah. It's
crazy, dude.
I mean, I have my partner just 3%, 3.75% on an investment property. You're making a 7%, 8% return on investment, and your rate is 3%.
So what you do, you tell people to take their money out. I'll get them the money, and then they give it to Antonio to invest it and make what, 6, 7, 8, 9%, right? And that's
15, 20, 25%, right, Antonio?
Oh yeah, we'll double it in a month. I mean, as in we just.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I want to make another push, you guys. We need some more power partners here. Let's get some more folks here. As you're out there thinking, always think is this person that would be good for the group? Even if you're not sure, invite them. Invite them, and don't feel if you invite somebody and you want some backup, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll follow up with an email or phone call. But let's start getting some more folks here.
That reminds me of an experience I had yesterday that I'll tell you about because it's a good lesson. Yesterday I was out door knocking, And this happens occasionally, you know, hey, you're probably not thinking of selling. No, but hey, you're a real estate agent, right? Yes, I am. Okay, well, here's what I sell. And then he starts selling me whatever he sells, right? And it was a guy who does wholesale mortgages. And he described it as something being, you know, where he deals with lenders, not with the end user. So I'm like, well, we don't have one of those in the tip group. So I invited him to join, to come today. And then I let Jimmy know so that he could send out an evite. And Jimmy reminded me that that is actually a conflicting category with mortgage. And so, you know, how that works is if somebody were to come in or somebody were to be invited to the group, the person who decides whether it's a conflicting category is the conflicting category. Okay. So let's say that somebody does holistic medicine, you know, prescriptions, like where they you know, you're sick and they're going to give you, you know, they're going to give you powder, some sort of, I don't know what the word is, but powder.
I love Jim's face right now.
the word. Anyway, he's going to prescribe you some Chinese herbal medicine. There you go. I got it. You know, that's something that Jim does. So the question is, does Jim want that person as a power partner, or does Jim think that that is a conflict? You know, Jim does both acupuncture and Chinese herbal medicine. And, you know, some people will say, oh, well, this guy is in that business. He can refer me acupuncture, right? So I might get more acupuncture clients.
But you limit your scope in order to cooperate with someone else, if you want to do that. Yeah.
So, but it's not up to me to decide whether this guy can come into the group. It's up to Jim, right? It's Jim's category that's being conflicted with. He can look at that as a power partner, or he can look at that as a conflict. That's up to him, right? He owns that category. Does that make sense?
All right. And on that note, we're at 8:31, Mr. Flexner.
Love you guys. Have a great week.
You guys have a great week. See you guys next week. And by the way,
Everybody.
real quick, one more thing before you shut off. Ignore the email I sent that had the roster for the speaker and the showboater and the lucky devil. I have it wrong. I'll send another one out. But we're going to go through the rotation so you'll know in advance when you're showing up. So like Laisha's doing all three next week.
And
All
Laisha,
The Laisha show.
There you go.
Laisha,
All right, guys, have a great week.
Don't forget to send a you know, an email to Antonio.
I'm on it. Thanks.
All right, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Have a great trip, Laisha.
Thank you.